Good morning. This is John on a beautiful Sunday morning. It's about 73 degrees. Just a little update on the W124. All in all, it's running pretty good. This is my son's car. I do the maintenance. Eventually, it'll be my car when he gets another car. I mean, eventually he's gonna have to get one, but he's been driving it for I don't know, over 10 years. And it's a 92 300E W124 with an M103 engine. I think my last project on it was replacing the head gasket, which was I believe in June or May, and it's doing real good. It's not really leaking any oil anymore around the head gasket. I did some, work on some of the spots that leak. There might be one drip, but I don't really, I see like maybe one drip of oil on the driver's side on the ground, and then it's gone for a couple of weeks, and then it comes back, and then it's gone. And so I might just do a leak test on that. And I think it's just possibly the oil filter housing that the oil filter screws onto. I believe that has a gasket, and that might be leaking, seeping, whatever. But anyways, today I'm just going to give it its yearly wax and shine. On video the car looks really clean, but it's got a lot of defects. It doesn't have any rust on it. It's always been a California car. The previous owner was a girl somewhere's up by San Francisco, and she was like a wildlife photographer, and she would drive this thing dirt roads and through the bushes and stuff. There was a lot of scratches. There's still some scratches where you can see where there's evidence that she's been driving through bushes. It's total bizarre way. Now the car, it has been painted once, and they did a semi-okay job, but this is like, it was probably painted 15 years ago. I don't know. But the paint is starting to come apart. I kind of wish it was original paint, but what are you going to do? Some of the projects or some of the fixes we need to do on this car coming up, hopefully, is replacing the windshield, because it's pretty pitted. They used kind of a soft glass, and it pits easily. And now the car, it's got close to 150,000 miles. Let's see. I did replace the headlight doors when we first got the car 10 years ago. They seem to be holding up okay. Most of the problem with this car is this back end right here. You can see right here where the paint is, the clear coat is coming off. Don't know why. And it's also coming off like right here. Those are the only two spots, but the clear coat's starting to get kind of, it's just, I don't know, bad preparation from the original painter. It's got some scratches along here. I painted, I repainted the trunk with single stage coat. Still needs to be color sanded, but it looks okay once it's waxed. I don't want to do too much on it. I also painted this strip and filled. There was a dent here. The only rust I found was like you could see it right here. I don't know what happened, if it got rear-ended When we got the car, the trunk was sitting up about that high on this side. It was just sitting up on both sides. So figured out how to adjust it. Why was it sitting up like that? It's like somebody had taken the trunk off, or it got damaged during an accident. Who knows? I don't know. I think I did look at the Carfax on this thing, but it didn't show any accidents. This side of the fender is starting to, it's just getting really weird. Like the clear coat is ready to peel off on this side. It's real dull. Then it gets shinier as you go up here. I think that the car always sitting like this for, as long as we've had it. The sun just hits this side of the car in the late afternoon and basically cooks the paint. And during the summertime, it gets really hot. We just came out of a heat wave end of August, beginning of September. Most of Southern California had a heat wave, and I mean it was a 10-day long heat wave. Here it was maybe about 107 degrees every day for at least 7 to 8, 9 days. He did complain that the car was becoming hard to start. And it was more of a, starts okay in the morning. He drives it to work, sits there for about 4.5 hours, 5 hours, and he goes to start it, and it's, unusual cranking time to get it to start. I've tested it. I might add some clips to some odd times that I was testing cold start, warm start, and I didn't really find any problems. I was thinking maybe ignition, maybe fuel. But like I said, I did the head gasket. I cleaned up the distributor cap. It looked okay, and it's about a 10-year-old distributor cap. Probably wouldn't be hurt to change that out. I changed the EHA valve on it. I've changed probably maybe 7 years ago. I've replaced all the fuel injectors and seals with brand new ones, because at that time it was having a hot start problem where some of these cars, it's the 6-cylinder, some of these cars will have a hot start problem, and usually it's the fuel accumulator. They say, your fuel accumulator can be responsible for a hot start where it cranks and cranks and cranks. So I replaced a fuel accumulator. I don't know, it was $90 maybe. This was years ago. And it really didn't do much difference. So I did research, and I had suspected the fuel injectors. Ran some fuel injector cleaner through it, didn't really help. So I just ordered new fuel injectors and seals. It wasn't that hard of a job. It was just expensive. I don't know, not horrible, but maybe $300 back then. And what was happening is either one or two of the fuel injectors, you go drive the car, gets nice and warm, go to the hardware store, come back 20 minutes later, go to start the car, and it was right. So what's happening is the fuel injectors are just leaking some fuel, a little bit of fuel on top of one of the pistons. So you go to start it, and it's kind of like flooded, and eventually it burns off, and then the car runs okay. But it's real irritating when it does that. So, if you have a problem like that, you've replaced everything else. You start with all the distributor caps and spark plugs, and checking your Hertz duty cycle and the EHA valve, and just the basic maintenance stuff. But be aware you can have that problem, and it happens with a lot of other cars. If fuel injector leaks and causes starting issues. I know that one time I might run some more fuel injection cleaner. There's a thing called Cat A Clean. I believe it's made by Gunk. It's about $25 for a little bottle of it like that. And then you take it and you run your fuel down to where it's like just barely right on the reserve with our lights coming on, on and off. You dump that stuff in there, and then you take it and you drive the car and you just drive it uphill, flooring it, and just, really give it the beans. Runs that stuff through, and it's supposed to clean your catalytic converter out, and it does. But it'll also clean everything in the fuel system, including the fuel injectors. I'm a firm believer of that. Some people say, oh no, it's going to destroy all your rubber parts in the fuel distributor. Well, I had a 1990 300 SE. I had done everything to it. Took it, to get emission testing here in Southern California, smog test, right? And it failed. And every time I took it there, it failed, and my neighbor Rick over there I go, hey, could you get this thing smog? Because he was a mechanic. He goes, yeah, you take the car. You bring it back. It passed. I don't know what he did. He knew somebody with a machine in it and got it to pass, and it did something. Who knows what. But this time around, the 300 SE was just, nope, it's failing your catalytic converter. So I got some of that Cataclean last ditch effort, did exactly what I just told you. And, same day, went there, failed, got the Cataclean, put it in there, drove it up to the hills here, and just punched that car. M103, same engine, same system, type car. Drove it back, and it passed with flying colors. And the technician there goes, what did you do to this thing? Look at this, the numbers are excellent. And I told him what I used. And he goes, well, shoot, man, that stuff really works. So if you're in Southern California or someplace where you have emission testing and it's failing, the hydrocarbons are too high, think about that Cataclean stuff, man. I mean, last ditch effort for $25, worked great. But I might run some of that through this. I'm thinking his starting issue might have been during that incredible heat wave where the heat just affected the car, but now it'll start. Let's get the keys. It'll start right up. Yeah, I gotta clean this car though. I know that my son works at a music store that just got bought out by a big company that has a lot of different stores all over. They might make him a manager and he'd have to travel on the freeway, and I wouldn't take this 30-year-old car. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fine, but it's a classic car now. Wow, he put gas in it. Look at that. Starts right up. That's his trash box. Oh God, need to clean this interior too. So, we got good everything on this thing. Runs good. Doesn't overheat anymore. For all that cooling system, I redid the entire cooling system. Did a couple mods. About $1,000 worth of parts, and then putting it in myself. I think an easier way to go around the cooling system is to ditch the existing system and put electric fans on the inside of the radiator, just like modern cars. And get that system right there so that you can turn those suckers on or have them automatically turn on with the temperature sensor system and all that. Because I was ready to go that route. I just didn't want to have to deal with it. But anyway, so now it runs cool, but it's $1,000 worth of parts, radiator, water pump, all that crap, everything. Anyways, so today I'm just gonna give it a wash, put a little bit of wax on it, bring it up to snuff. You can see the paint. It's cracking. So it's not a perfect car. Cars that live outdoors really have a hard life. This rubber here, I did find a place, I think on eBay, that, God, they were cheap for these rubber boots. New ones. That'd be good. Oh, and yeah, another thing is replacing this windshield. So we're doing some research to replace this windshield. This chrome strips around there have to come off. And looking at the Mercedes way of doing it, first this strip has to come off, and it comes off all the way down to here. Both sides. That part comes off. Then the other side comes off, and then this part here can come off. And then this whole windshield wiper thing has to come off, rubber here. That has to come off, and then I can bring it somewhere, because I'd be afraid to bring it somewhere and have them try to take this stuff off. It's held on by these clips on the inside that a lot of them will break. Taking it off, prying this thing off with little special, little rubber tools, plastic tools that I have. Yeah, so I don't even know where to take it to. I'm sure there's some places in town that can order the windshield, and then we'll have it put on. Anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna wash it right now. Just give it a quick wash and then start polishing it. It was overcast. I kind of wish it would stay overcast. All right. Well, I got the car cleaned and vacuumed the best I could. I went to open the hood, and this thing broke. It's kind of a cheap aftermarket one, and it's been on there for several years, and it finally broke. So gotta try to open the hood, get a replacement. So I think I need a screwdriver. So to replace this wonderful thing, there's a screw. Okay. God, it's so bright. My eyes aren't even focusing. Okay. See that screw right there? That's what we want to get to. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if it'll work. Stay. Okay. It's just one screw. I'm gonna have to order a new one of these. Okay. Let's see if I can get this working here. Which way do I have the camera? This way? This is hard to do. Yeah, there's the cable right here. Okay, you just gotta get it out of there. Then, please don't break. Oh man, I tell you. There, okay. So, I'll save this piece of crap. God. Find one, order it. I don't know if this is a Euro. It wasn't very expensive, I remember. It's got a Mercedes star on it, but they can make one of those up easily. There, now I can See, these old cars, you got to keep them going. The original one broke. Okay. Then we'll open the hood to the 90-degree angle. Just got to pull that out and then go the other side. It sure makes it working on an engine a lot easier. And this one here, you got to pull out and yeah, then release it like that and lock it in. Look at that. Wish all cars had that, because you can see everything. Everything looks good, no leaks or anything. Car runs. But yeah, we're gonna have to order that part. So I'm just gonna wait for it to cool off. What time is it? 2:30. Yeah, maybe around 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock. What the hell happened here? No, just a little grease. I mean, it's not a bad looking car for 30 years old. You can see where that chick used to drive through bushes, and I tried to paint this, but there was scratches all along there. You know, how you want to ride in comfort and luxury of that car. Lincoln Town Car, 2006. It's got 22,000 miles on it, almost 23,000 miles on it. I just drove it the other day, a real long distance, man. I think it's great for driving long distances. Yeah, so I'm just gonna wait for this sun. It's now what, about 85 degrees out maybe. We'll just wait on that. Okay, I found one. $10. Amazon, one day. Black and red. Yeah. Add to cart. Yeah, I think I'll just buy that. I mean, it just gave out after a while, after years. Plastic, you know. I'm sure the original Mercedes one lasts a lot longer, but the original Mercedes one broke too when we got it, you know. So, and I've lubed the cable and everything, so that it's not, you know, it's not hanging up on anything. So we'll just get that. All right, so a little after 4 p.m., sun's down, I'm in the shade. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clay bar the top surfaces of the car, because that's where everything falls on. And even though it's washed, fairly shiny, you can still feel like embedded grit in the paint. So just buy this, you get it on Amazon. Meguiar's clay bar, like $16. You get a couple of these things, and I just use them over and over again, you know. Then just, they sell a spray they use. You want to get kind of soapy water so the thing slides easily when you're doing it. I just water and some Dawn dish soap mixed in and just squirt it down and just start rubbing it. Pretty easy. When you have a clean one of these, then you can see all the dirt that you've taken off that's embedded in the paint. That's a chip of paint. And you just keep going over it, real easy, just rubbing it. Like this stuff here, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but there's stuff that's like this right here. So it pretty much takes that off of there. You go to wax your car, it won't get this stuff off. And it gets real super smooth. It's just an extra step, but with these old paint jobs, if I do this about once a year, if I was younger, I'd do it every 6 months. Then you'll feel this clay bar. You can feel the stuff coming off, and then when it's just smooth like that, all the contaminants are off. And you can see the kind of the dirt. That's all the crap that it got out of the top layer of the paint. So I'm just going to do this whole section, then the roof, and then the trunk, and maybe the back sides where the sun hits it. This part's not too bad though. It's not too bad. We'll leave that alone for now. Okay, about 20 minutes later, I got the hood, all the top surfaces, the trunk, and right about here, all the way down. I did this last time to the bottom. It's still in good shape. The sun and particles of crap laying on top of the paint mostly, but this'll keep it nice. So next step is I'm just gonna use this little polishing compound. Just use a little bit on this wheel here. Just keep it wet, water, and then after that's taken off, then I just use a little bit of this here. I mean, this is all fairly cheap. I've already done, I've done the Lincoln with it, the van with it, so it lasts quite a while, and it's not real expensive. You get all this stuff on Amazon. It's cheap, you know. And then you buy yourself a bunch of buffing rags, and you keep everything in one spot, and you do it once a year, and your paint it'll last a long time. I mean, it's starting to fall apart, but if I keep doing this, it'll stay shiny, and water will roll off of it when you wash it, and when it rains and stuff, it'll just stay clean, hopefully, right? Okay, after about a half hour, I got the polishing compound over all the surfaces that I wanted to. Then I went over it with a dry rag and just get off, not all of it, but as much as you can of that polishing compound. And then it's time to use that to get the rest of the polishing compound off. Once that's done, then I do the wax, and I do the same thing. Yeah, so what I do to get this off is I use a microfiber towel that I got a bunch of these, and I clean them in the sink afterwards and dry them, and they're good as new. And I like putting it on here because it doesn't load up as fast as these pads. You know, that's more for wax, you know, because the wax is easy to get off, but the polishing compound, it's in there. And this helps. And you just run it like that, and you turn the rag over, and then get another rag when it starts loading up. But it gets it all off really easily. Yeah. Okay, all the polishing is done. Most of it's off. Now for some Carnauba. New pad, you get these on Amazon, cheap. All this stuff. And you use it over and over again, you know? Or go, you know, spend $500 and have somebody do it for you. But there's great satisfaction to be able to do this. You know, you start off with kind of a dirty car. You spend all day on it, and then you just, it's great, you know. I get a lot of satisfaction out of doing it. I go, wow, it looks so shiny and clean now. There's one thing about when you drive old cars, if you drive dirty old cars, it's very depressing. You know, they might run good and everything, but they're just like dirty, and they just look like a dirty old car. You get them all cleaned up like this, and you're proud to drive a old car, you know, old classic. All right, time for the Carnauba. Okay, so then I done with the wax, and I just get a wet sponge type thing, a little bit of water on it, and just go over in entire area that you did just to get the nooks and crannies that the machine did not get. Look at all that paint delamination. What the hell happened there? God, they did a bad prep on this thing. Yeah, you can see the paint's just starting to come apart. Cost a small fortune to have this thing repainted. At least the way I'd do it is I'd take everything off of it. Siding, all that Bruno Saki molding. But yeah, just go over the whole area that you did, and that will help protect. Okay, break time. Let whatever water's on here to dry off. Yeah, probably 5 minutes. Then put another clean pad on there and a rag or a towel and finish it off. And then the whole top will be protected. Tomorrow I can do the sides if it looks like it needs it, but it's pretty decent. All right, it's been time. Let's do this. Clean towel. Come on, wind. At least it's nice and breezy. It's not 107 degrees out here. Let's see if we can get this. Just do that to the whole part. The part is done. And just got to go over the whole thing. Look for little areas that you missed, which I do. Touch up whatever you didn't get wax on. But those machines make life a lot easier. So now I got pretty good shine on that roof. And then these sides here. It's old paint. Now see, this is the section that was really weird. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of dark here. I was able to get this part that was all dull like this to shine, so I think I'm really gonna have to go over it with something to get this off. I don't know what that is. See, my son parks this car under a tree at work. It's the only tree that has shade, but that tree drops stuff. There were little red spots all over this car. I go, what? What are all those red spots? Like blood splatters everywhere. Oh, it's probably from that tree. And at least I got all that stuff off. The clay bar got all that stuff off. And then the damn place where he works, the sprinklers, where he parks, and he can only park in one place. The sprinklers will hit this side of the car. I can still see some of it, but it leaves like scale hard water deposits on this side of the car that are so hard to get off. And I mean, I got to the point and I was like, when do those sprinklers go off in this? It's a commercial property, right? Shopping center. Small, old shopping center. He goes, about 11 o'clock in the morning, it just gets everybody's car wet. I go, that's ridiculous. They should, that watering timer should be set for like 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., But no, not 11 when everybody's there. So I actually went over there and started looking at where the timer was, and it was a big timer box. I know how to reset those things, but it had a lock on it. And so I kind of chickened out, but I was ready to go there and just reset the timer. I might still do that one day, but it drive you crazy. You have a car completely clean, and then and then it just gets wiped out with hard water deposits in like 15 minutes. It's ruined again. The only way to get that stuff off, it doesn't wash off. It just, you have to do this kind of work to it to get it off. Anyway, so I'm done for now. Tomorrow maybe I'll do the sides, but they're not real bad. So I'm done. See you later. I found this yesterday. My son found it. It is driving the 1989 Mercedes 300E Silky Smooth German Nostalgia. So this guy is Tedward. Subscribe to him. He takes this, I don't know, 27,000 mile 1989 300E. You know, he drives cars and everything, and he's real good at it. Drives really exotic cars, and then just regular cars like this. But check him out. Maybe I'll put a link. He has nothing but good things to say about the W124. Cool.